Hello and welcome to another video by Rick Miracle. Me. In my series, Year 2020, the Rick Miracle Report. I just finished a video this morning, today, number 31, the history of the virus threat. So I want to continue that. I was going over the Phoenix Journal materials. Phoenix Journals look like this. Sorting the pieces, relative connections. You must first sort the pieces to find the truth. Lies will not make the picture whole. Only the truth will make heads or tails of the way it is. Phoenix Journals, relative connections. The bitter communion, altars of hemlock, and a new religion shall sweep across the lands, and the people will be deceived. Phoenix Journals. From 1990 to 1999, 10 years. Burnt offerings and blood-stained sand, psychopolitics and the sacrifice of the Phoenix. End of the masquerade. Let's pluck the cuckoo bird. The Phoenix Journals. So I have about 20 of these out of about 120 that were published. So I keep a lookout on the used book sites, trying to purchase them. But I discovered recently that there are some unpublished Phoenix Journals that never made it out there to be sold as books. And my last video, I was going over some of the keywords in the synopsis for the Phoenix Journals that were unpublished. So you can go on 4winds10.com or the Phoenix Journal website and find these journals and look at the link for the unpublished ones, and it has this little synopsis of what's in each book. These were unpublished. So I left off on number 205. So I'm going to pick up a reading from the keywords, meta tags, whatever you want to call them, from the Phoenix Journal 206. And as I said in the last video, I was looking for biological warfare threats, climate control, climate threats, and other indications of what's going to happen with the globalism, New World Order. So I didn't seem to have I didn't catch this one here. I'll align it right now. But Phoenix 206, you can see the line I drew there. New anthrax threatens Armageddon. And then on the bottom there, socialized medicine being brought in by the Trojan horse inside Congress. Antibacterial soaps may spawn germ hazards. Phoenix Journal 207, biological warfare, a major threat. 100 to 200 million Americans to die soon. 1996 or 1997, that particular journal. Isn't this a coincidence that all that stuff is in these journals? And what's happening now makes a person wonder. So anyways, I was watching the news today, and apparently, if you go online, Yahoo website, and you see the press releases, but you got a pastor here who is charged after holding in-person church services. He says he doesn't like live streams because he can't touch parishioners. Tony Spell, an evangelical pastor in the Life Tabernacle Church in the suburban Baton Rouge, Louisiana, faces 6 charges, misdemeanor charges, after conducting an in-person church service despite the state's stay-at-home. So it does seem that the police action is ramping up. There's more here. Three pastors and Steve Hoyts, an anti-LGBT activist and doctor, filed a petition in Texas. The stay-at-home order violates religious liberty for those who want to gather for church services. So I suppose they're able to override the U.S. Constitution with this coronavirus threat. Worldwide quarantine, something never heard of before and warned about. I have some other documents here. I've been watching some videos on YouTube, and they talk about a lab-created coronavirus triggers debate. Can we have debates? Lab-created coronavirus triggers debate. So I've been watching videos, and lab-made coronavirus triggers debate. You can see this. The author mentions the debate that erupted over the creation of lab-made coronavirus in 2015. So in 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 2020, they've been working in laboratories to make these biological weapons. Coronavirus negligence is slammed by lab experts. So are we under attack? There are 276,000 results for that search. If you have any questions in your mind, go look it up. Here's another document. Trump confronts a new reality, this is today, before expected wave of disease and death. So if you believe this stuff, which I think that there could be death and everything else, stay at home, hunker down, don't go out there. But this is Wednesday, April Fool's Day, crazy as that is. By Tuesday, however, more than 187,000 recorded cases in the United States, and more Americans having been killed by the virus than by September 11th, 2001. So far, more people have been killed by the virus than 911. The president's assessment has rather drastically changed, and it's not the flu. He says it's vicious. So he's saying it's not the flu, it's vicious. Is it a biological weapon? Is it spread by the air? What about chemtrails, chemical dumping? Can it be caused by 5G, microwaves messing with our cells, causing flu-like symptoms and death? There's plenty of videos out there about that. So anyways, I was watching the news last night. This is Wednesday, so last night was Tuesday evening. And I saw the charts, and I saw some of his speech. The grim-faced president who appeared in the White House briefing room for more than 2 hours Tuesday evening beside charts. So somebody's made up these charts. And apparently they have these charts with these big curves where a lot of people die. And then these other charts with these smaller curves like this is less people dying if they enforce all of the people to not go anywhere. At a minimum, the charts predicted 100,000 to 240,000 Americans would die. So they're predicting 250,000 people might die. And only if the nation abided by the stringent social restrictions that would choke the economy and impoverish millions. So unless all the people will stay home and become impoverished voluntarily, 250,000 people might die. It's what it says here on this press release on the internet. I'm not saying it. New York Times. Focus. Crazy as it is. So you can go read those press releases. Here's another document I found not too long ago. Executive Intelligence Review. Billionaires plan for world genocide exposed. May 25th, 2009. The London Sunday Times. May 24th, issued exposed the genocide agenda of a top secret meeting of 14 of the world's richest people. May 5th, 2009, Bilderberger Club in a bid to curb population growth by John Harlow. So quite a few pages here to this thing. Please go look this stuff up. So if they had a meeting with the Bilderbergers and it's in the London Times, should we be concerned if the wealthy people, all details are all here, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and Rockefeller and so many other people at the private Rockefeller University in New York City. They call themselves the Good Club. Got another one here. This stuff's crazy. I know. I do research and report. I hope that's not illegal. Billionaires plan for genocide exposed. You got all these videos. European genocide plan. Chemtrail truthers mobilizing global rally against. So no shortage of material here. 4,340,000 results. 4,340,000 results. So somebody wants to depopulate the planet. Here it says billionaire club to curb overpopulation. More. You can go look it up. I looked up the different types of flu to kind of educate myself. A, B, and C, types of influenza viruses. 44 million results on that one. So there have been many instances of huge amounts of people dying from these viruses. 30,000, 60,000, 90,000, but never no worldwide quarantine. WebMD. So people need to do the research and find out what's going on here. See what else I have here. I think this one's too harsh for me to share on this video. Too much evidence. So anyways, back to the Phoenix Journals, continuing with the synopsis of the unpublished Phoenix Journals. Bacteriological, that's a funny word there. Bacteriological warfare, a major threat. 100 to 200 million Americans to die. Chains of human DNA. Chains of human DNA planted in mice. America, take note. Mock anti-terrorist action. Neuroscience, brain warnings. NutraSweet is a neurotoxin. Journal 210, unpublished journal. Biological warfare, June, July 1997. Bacteriological warfare, a major threat. Archangel Michael. The importance of mothers and fathers. A diary of the planet. Not with my child, you won't. Some of the topics of the articles in the journal. Show of concern. Importance of mothers and fathers. And recently it's been in the news that some people are saying the elderly people would die to save the economy. And they've been calling for the elimination of the elderly people. In the past, I've shown that in these journals. Programming deceptions, be wise as serpents, becoming aware of the power of the mind. CIA unveils new ghetto drugs. Communist Christianity, that can't happen. It's an oxymoron. Phoenix Journal 212. Darkest secrets of our time. Codex FDA's attempt to regulate all natural health products. So they are trying to regulate what we put in our bodies. Apparently, a lot of stuff we put in our bodies damages our immune systems and makes us more susceptible to these biological threats. Phoenix Journal 213. Confirmation of Global Plan 2000 and Coming Earth Changes by Ray Bilger. Recent Scallion visions about coming Earth changes. The News Desk Special Report, Journal 214. Vaccinations. Whose thoughts are yours? Mind control is not a pretty science. The children are the government's most valuable assets. Scientists tracking flu that killed millions. So they tracked the flu that killed millions. Bottom here, more biological topics. Herpes soars since the 70s at the bottom of the page. Next page. Murder Incorporated, Zionist terrorists exposed by Eustace Mullins. Journal number 217, Socialism, Quiet Grip on a Nation. Socialism is communism, and it is anti-God religion, philosophy. Global warming, tracks, flavored, snuffing out flu, and much more. The News Desk, The Body Electric, Complete tracing of your auto, the fourth right, totalitarian vision, necessary evil. On the bottom here, what of this secret germ find, outbreaks, contamination of the food supply, outbreak, wonder weapons, the New World Order, the secret societies, the Illuminati, the United Nations, and anthrax. So you don't have to look very hard to figure out who's behind a lot of this insanity. Is Mine Slavery, the Human Future, Facing Facts, Anthrax, Global 2000. Journal 221, Mystery Illness, the Brainless Taxman, January 2008. Journal 221, High-Tech Non-Lethal Weapons. You can't make this stuff up. Next one down, U.S. reports flu outbreaks in 44 states. They didn't quarantine the world then, February 1998, 22 years ago. 44 states, flu outbreaks. So why are they quarantining the world now? A lot of predictions and exposure of planned for 2020. Agenda 21, Agenda 2020, Agenda 2030. Just saying, when? It's not if, it's when. We got all the materials. We have the plans. A lot of people have been trying to warn people. Defending America. After guns are grabbed, will free speech be next? Adaptive chips. Journal 231. Emerging info about arrest of bioterrorist. So this is back in 1998, and apparently I have a document here that some people working on these viruses were arrested over there in China, American professor and other people. Apparently he was getting on a plane and he had vials of some of this stuff in his sock, if you can believe that. Pay attention, do some research, don't believe me. So they got the arrest of bioterrorists in 1998. So they've been trying to do this for a while. The truth behind the arrest of the bioterrorist. The new desk, gene-engineered anthrax, is it a weapon? More about the 1918 Spanish flu. On the bottom of this, media not reporting many dying from flesh-eating bacteria. War continues. Global cooling. Why terrorism? So back in 1998, it wasn't global warming, it was global cooling. And of course, neither one of those panned out, so now it's climate change. All right, next page. I don't see that I highlighted anything, but all kinds of interesting stuff. You can pause your computer. Satanism. Backtracking the Civil War, global parasites, national emergency. I was looking for things in these magazines concerning biological warfare, climate change, climate control, mind control. All right, Journal 237. Chemical and Biological Warfare Program. New flu deaths scare Hong Kong. No world quarantine then. Are you ready to give up your home and property? This could not happen to me, could it? The Bamboozling of Americans by John Coleman. Vaccination risks are very real. Sign or die. So I just read the press release from the newspaper today that unless the people stay home and allow the economic disaster where everybody loses everything to happen, then the virus will get out of control and more people will die. It was in a press release. It's in the newspaper or Yahoo Online News, so I'm sure it was in the newspapers also. So economic collapse, people lose everything. According to the newspaper today, I just showed you the article. And then they want to give us a coronavirus vaccine, and there's so much information here that says the vaccines are dangerous. We're in a very precarious situation, almost like we're in the Twilight Zone. Sanity has left the planet. A warning to Mr. and Mrs. America. Next one down, 240. Food loaded with alcohol, 1998. All right, down the bottom here. The mountain of unpayable debt. So they just gave themselves $2 trillion stimulus package. And I calculated what they were going to give we the people. It totals up to about $2 billion. And there's 1,000 billion in a trillion. So that means if you take $2 billion, some crumbs to the people, one-time check, how's that going to help anybody? And that means they're going to be left over with 1,998 billion. And a couple weeks ago, with President Donald Trump on the campaign trail, I've been watching the videos. The economy was supposed to be really robust and so successful, better than it's been in many years. But meanwhile, Glenn Beck and Rick Sanchez on RT News and Glenn Beck on his channel and other people were exposing that trillions were being fed to the banks in secret, while Donald Trump was saying the economy was robust. So who's telling the truth? Who's lying? And another concern, you know, you use your God-given brain and you pay attention to what's going on, and you see that the bulk of the people are not aware, or apparently they're not caring, and you see the threat to our reality, and so you make a video like I'm doing, and then you realize you're exposing yourself to these people who are socialists, communists, and apparently Satanists. They don't have any qualms about killing people. I've been doing more research on the United Nations at E.G. Griffin's book, The Enemy Within or something. I've been reading it. I need to make a video. And oh my goodness, apparently the United Nations does the biddings of these elites. So apparently the future with communitarianism is the corporations, the secret elites, and the governments controlling also the religions against the people. So the corporations will still be able to control whole workforces and factories and farmings and all that stuff, mining, and make wealth. But the people will be socialized workers living in communitarianisms like a communisms or barracks or small living quarters. Quite crazy. And of course, the presidents since Carter or before have been signing something called a Noahide law that makes the Noahide laws Talmudic Jewish laws, the laws of the land. And the United States was supposed to have separation of church and state. They can't make some law, the religious law of the land. But then again, they can't do a lot of things they've been doing. Crazy stuff in the food. The mountain of unpayable debt. The Jewish ambassadors. ADL strikes again. Book burning list extended to websites on the internet. And last year they canceled my YouTube channel along with many other people's YouTube channels. So somebody definitely wants to control what people know. Next page, 242. Unpublished Phoenix Journals. You can find it at the Phoenix Journals website. New supergerm fuels fears. Fears about food safety on the rise. Vanishing bees. We've all heard about the bees disappearing. Threatens food supply. The end of America coming soon. This is in 1997. But I made a comment about 2017, which I'll talk about here in a second. Navy base biological testing law repealed. So apparently Congress banned biological research into biological weapons, enhancing these flu viruses, etc. But apparently under President Donald Trump, those restrictions were repealed, and the people who are behind all of this research, the elites and huge corporations, went back to bacterial biological research in 2017. You can look that document up. All right, next page, 245 journal. U.S. used nerve gas during Vietnam War, so apparently they're not opposed to using these kinds of weapons. The world environmental catastrophe in the making, hardly reported. And it says here, you are all mighty spiritual beings, wake up, I wrote. And we are spiritual beings, and so I guess the most they can do is kill us physically, but we have to give them our souls. And one of the ways to do that is to be violent and go out there and get revenge and kill them, because then you join them in the physical world, which means you join them in the spiritual world, in the dark dimensions. You can call it Hades, hell, whatever you want to call it. It's not heaven. So there is a battle for the souls. They call it the cosmic battles. There's many books written with those titles. Phoenix Journal 246. Fallen angels and serpent people. Mythology, history. Disasters provide great teaching tools. The truth is out there if you look. Drugs and TV, your blindfold and cigarette, poisoning water. So they have all kinds of tools at their resource to put stuff in the water, in the air. We look up at the sky, we can see they're dumping stuff. We know that they're installing cell phone towers, transmitters everywhere, which are a lot of people, professors and experts have proven that they're detrimental to our health, causing flu-like symptoms. Journal 256. Implants allow humans to control computers. So back in 1999, implants allow humans to control computers. Now they have implants that allow the computers to control you or me. I wrote that on there. They're just moving right along with their research. Art Bell, back in 1999, says everyone is sick. Watch those contrails in the sky. So people are aware they were dumping stuff into the sky before the year 2000. The Soviets, bugs, lies, Ebola, HIV, colloid silver. The news desk, Apollo astronauts was murdered. Oh my. So I just was thinking a few minutes ago. So if I came to your house, you invited me to a party. And you said, you know, Rick, bring some beer. And I showed up with my pickup truck loaded with 100 cases of beer. Just say. Would everybody think that was a little bit overboard? Say, Rick, we don't need that much beer. You're crazy. Of course. So when I went over this 125 Phoenix journals unpublished and these other documents, have I gone overboard? Was there enough evidence here to convince people that this stuff is real. The warnings have been out there, and that they are pursuing the powers that be, the socialists, communists, Zionists, secret societies, Bilderbergers, the elites, the banksters, a global world order. They want to depopulate the planet. It was mentioned so many times in these documents. They're into biological weapons and all kinds. I've only read those particular keywords. There's a whole lot of other keywords I could have taken us in many different directions. 666 barcodes, Babylon resurrected, Civil War plot, Judeo-Christianity terminology, mind control. What about replicated human beings? Suicides down under, separation of church and state. Council of Foreign Relations, defense contractors, computer viruses, PLO, Pope, foreign prisoners, nuclear fuel, China, labor, pollution. Oh my. So somebody, if they really want to know what's going on, go to the Phoenix Journal websites, 4winds10.com, and the other website, contactnews10.com, and get these newspapers back then called the Liberator or the Contact newspaper or the published journals. I have about 20 out of the 120. The published journals: Threads of Silk, Bands of Steel, Tangled Webs, Tracking Down the Killer and Other Forms of Murder, The Elites, The Science of Man, The Scientific Definition and Proof of God, The Cosmic Order of the Universe. Again, I wouldn't say that everything in here I believe is true, but they certainly dump enough material to give us the gist of what's going on in the world. Death Rattle of Freedom, the year 2000, The Cry of the Phoenix. Gotcha, Volume 1. Haven't they got us? And then, of course, the 125 unpublished journals on the Phoenix Journal website. And the newspapers, over 1,000 PDF documents you can download and sort out on your computer for free. Thank you for watching my video. Leave me a comment. Did I share enough information? Am I sharing enough information and showing you where to find it? I don't care if you never watch me again. But go find this information. Go find these books I've been showing and these other articles. If we don't wake up, we're going to be in trouble. Thank you for watching my video. Rick Miracle reporting. God help us all, I pray.